It's another color pencil drawing that we're gonna start. As you see, I started with some part of the background. I just want to frame my flowers, and mostly when we are draw or paint, we're starting from the background and then we're gonna go to the foreground. But this part is that I want to start with the subject, the items that I have, then I'm gonna complete the background. The first step is looking of your colors that you have. You see, I choose the colors that first it's a local colors, then it's a pink, red, and purple that I can see on this. If you don't have pink, use of the white color pencil and red color pencil. Use of white first, then come with the red on this, and again with the white. Then you're gonna have your pink colors. First of all, we are looking of the general light and dark that we have here. The general color is pink, then I made everywhere almost pink. Then I add the red, I add the purple to it, but still it's a general colors that I see. The last thing that we are doing is details. Then first we're gonna come just with the general light and dark. Remember that every times that we are changing the colors from for example, purple to red or red to the pink, be sure that somehow make it a part of the, it's doesn't have to be separate from each other. You have to blend these colors. Some things that I'm doing right now is blending the red to the pink. Then be sure that you blend it, even it's just a small part of this, but they have to blend to each other to make a very naturalistic look. The part that it's in the center of the flower, it's darker. The part that they're in the top of the petals, they are lighter. And we have some reflection somewhere. And as you see, I start with the light to dark, but it's not a rules. I'm showing you in the other flower that you can start from dark to light. When you have a large area, use of the side of your pencil. When it's a small area and you want to be very careful, you can use of the tip of your pencil. But mostly the most important part is we don't have to see the track of the color pencil here. It has to be very, very smooth, and all the colors must look like that they're blending to each other. A little exaggeration in the dark gonna make a good contrast for your drawing. Then exaggerate in the dark part. For the dark part, I'm using of the blue, purple, and a little of the alizarin red. Then not only we're using red, we are using of the dark blue, we are using of the purple. For making the part lighter, the red can get with orange, and with the yellow lighter. I define the shape of the pistils here, even in this small part, you have to remember our chiaroscuro technique, that for making everything illusion of 3D, we are using of chiaroscuro, and we are using of light and dark. Then even in a smaller part of the cylindric shape of the pistols, we have to make it dark and light and medium. Keep the part that is light, keep them light, and we can come on top of this and make the other part dark, but keep them light. Again, you see that some part of this I need to see the darkness of the background to decide how much I make it darker or lighter. Then I'm coming around the petals and making the background over there. It's a color pencil, it's a long process. Then you have to take your time, spend a lot of time in this drawing to finish it. It's not gonna be very fast. You need to work on this for hours and hours. The lines that I see on the petals, it's the last thing that I'm draw on the petals. Don't make a line from the beginning of the petal until end of this. Use of the implied lines, just make it darker in the dark area. The quality of line is important. Make it lighter when you're getting to the lighter area. Make a distance between line, and again continue with this. So this part is the stem, and I'm starting with the light part. And adding the dark to that. You see that I use of the light green, dark green, blue, and yellow for the green part. So this part is that I'm using of dark area first, and then I'm going to light area. Then again, the color that you're choosing, it's the local color first. We have red and we have white, but for making the red darker, we can use of purple, we can use of green, and we can use of blue. I'm using all of them in this drawing for making the red darker. For making red lighter, we can use of the any color that it's getting closer to orange. Then it's gonna be orange, it can be yellow, and and even white. But white make it a little uh, pinkish. Then I prefer to go to the most like a orangish and yellowish colors to make it lighter. But you can try it. Don't be scared of the trying our colors. As much as you're trying the colors and trying uh, different colors, you're gonna learn more. For the part that it is white, we can see that I'm gonna leave it white, but the white cannot be just white. Even the whitest part, they have some shadow on this. Then as I'm working on this, I'm making first light, leave it light, then we're gonna come and add some shadows on our white part. The part that we have a white on this, I like to see the background next to it to show the white better. That's why I'm working with the background first here. For the white part, I'm using of the white color pencil because when I'm making it white and then coming with the other shadow on this, it's gonna be smoother, very smoother. And that's why that I'm using of the white and I'm using of the purple frequently next to each other to make it very smooth. When we have the red next to the white, just try to don't make the line very sharp. The line between the red and white doesn't have to be a very sharp line. Try to just a little in a small spaces blend the white and red together. Then they're gonna connect to each other in that way. So for the some kind, I think it's a wheat or barley, I don't know, but The best way to make it is first I make it a light color on every part of this, and and after that I'm using of the olive green, I'm using of the um, blue, cerulean blue, the light blue. I used brown, I use red to make the light. Then I'm coming with the color of the background around it, and we have a space between some part of these. I making it really dark in these spaces to show define the shape of them better. For the part that it's very lighter, I'm using of the yellow. So the next flower that we have, it's white. So as we talk about this, white cannot be just white, but for defining the shape of white, I'm adding the color of the background around it. Then after we have the define the shape, is we're gonna back to the flower and make some shades on this. You have to decide that which part of the painting you have more light or dark. For example, if I have the light in the left side, then all of them has to have in left side lighter area and in the right side darker area. Using of I'm using of purple because the color of background to make the darkness. Then I'm gonna back with the white and make the purple colors more smooth on drawing. Again, I'm going around it with the background and using the colors for define the shape. The yellow flower that we have here, the first thing I'm making it yellow everywhere. Okay, and the green of the center part, the leaf of the center part and the stem, this is the second things that I'm doing. From here is that I'm adding more shadow between the petals, because just with the shadow between petals is that we can see it. Then I'm coming with the different shadows. For making the shadows, I'm using of orange, I'm using blue, I'm using purple, and remember that it's not gonna be very good until we finish with the background around it. This is green that I'm using. And yeah, this is the background. I'm coming with the background around it to make more shape of the petals. And next flower is the orange one. What make orange light? The color is yellow. And what make it darker? It can be any color that it's darker than orange. Complementary color is blue. Traditionally, we can use of brown, like I'm doing here. We can use of purple, we can use of red, and we can use of blue, red, brown, purple, green. All of them can make it darker. And as you see, mostly I use of the brown, and I'm using of the blue and a little purple to make the dark part. The center part, it's must has this some shape of the round shape illusion of the 3D. Then Don't forget to make it from dark to light. For the shadows, I want to use of the darker colors, and I'm coming with the purple and blue on top of this. And these, I don't know what are they. They are some things like grapes. They are red. And for making the reds darker, as we talk about this, we can use of green and we can use of blue or purple. If you just leave a part of this for the reflection, it's gonna be very beautiful. So I move to the next flower that we have. For this flower that it's blue, I want to just show you another technique that we can use. It's not necessary you're using of this technique. If you use it, you're gonna learn more about this. But this is a mineral spirit, and I can use of this ear swab, or we can use of brush, watercolor brush. And after you're using of the color pencil, coming with this, and like right now that I'm doing, and blend the colors together, coming from dark to light, and let it get a little dry, and come back with the color pencil again on this. This technique make your color pencil very, very smooth. You're going to continue with the mineral spirit on this until you be happy with the result. You have to have dark and light. The surface gonna be completely smooth, very, very smooth. If you see that you're adding too much pigments in somewhere, you can remove it with the mineral spirit. You can get the mineral spirit from Lowe's or Home Depot or anywhere else. It's very cheaper than you buy it from art stores. And some small flowers that we have in the middle, we are doing it. This part of the flower, it's some kind of the purplish one. Then we are making it purple. I'm using of a little of darker blue and lighter blue with the purple. I'm using white on this. And for these dots that you see, first make it larger dark but lighter. And then in the center of this, make some darker dots. Then lighter first, and lighter and bigger, and then in the center of this darker one. So for all the greens that you're making it round shape. Then you have to follow the rules for light, medium, dark to make everything's with the illusion of 3D. And we have two kind of the leaves here. Some of them that you can see it very good, and some of them that it's in the background. It's doesn't show itself a lot. And for the one that we see in the back, after you're making it, you can come with the color of the background a little on top of this. Or you can first make the background and coming with the leaves on top of the background. I'm showing both of these techniques to you. For the dry flowers that we have here, it's important that you're seeing that it's almost dead. The colors doesn't have to be very bright colors that we have, but some part, especially in the lowest part of this, and that's why I'm using brownish colors more, and try to a brown and green that make it a little muddy colors, a little dead color for the flower. Every color that I'm using, I'm having all the color pencil next to each other, then you can see what color I'm using. Again, try the colors next to each other. Don't use of just one color. You have to use several layers on top of each other. Don't go just with one layer. As we talk about this green, we can make it darker with the red, we can make it darker with blue, we can make it darker with brown and purple, and lighter with white or with yellow. For this flower, the color is very light pink that we have here, and the color that we're gonna use gonna be I'm using of the red, white, pink, purple, um, and first very light color. I'm adding the light colors everywhere, adding the dark colors just in the bottom of this, the bottom part that it's dark. Then I want to define the shape of petal. Then I'm looking of some of the petals after that and coming to add a little shadow and a little contrast, next to the light for each petal that I want to show it. In the other side that it's darker, we are using of the darker colors. The background helped me here to add the details of the petals and see the light part of the flower better with making the contrast between light and dark. Again, find the shapes that you don't have to completely copy the shape that you see. Sometimes you see you have a shape here, you can define it and make a petal of this, then follow the shape that you have. I'm using of the eraser to just bring back a little light on this. Then if I see that I'm covering somewhere and I want to back to the white part, then I'm using of eraser. The eraser that I have is a electrical ones, and it's great. It makes my life easier. You can get it. I got it from Amazon. If you want, you can get it from anywhere that you want. adding the details, a line in the end. Making a little contrast gonna bring more beautiful shapes for us. Okay, this one is the one that has a dots on this, and I'm using um, purple and red on this. Purple, violet, red. Mostly you have to look at the contrast that you're creating. And in this one is that we had dots. I'm sorry for the first one, it was another one with, but for this one, making a using of light and dark of the purple, violet, use of blue on them. And for the dots, make a larger, lighter dots first, and after that, in the center of them, make them darker. And now we are using of the, I'm start to adding the background to that, and using of the all the leaves and stem, complete all of the stem and leaves that we have here. Remember that a lot of these leaves and stem, they are in the background, they don't show themselves very good. We don't want to make a contrast. We want to make them very close to the value of background. It means that it has to be the same darkness of this. Then you can make it the same darkness, or you can come with the color of even background on a part of this and make it almost fused to the background. This one, as you see, I first making the leaves. I'm not making details for that. If we don't want to show it very good, we don't have to make a details for that. And this one is that first we have the background, then coming with the leaves on top of the background. Then in both way we can do it. But don't make contrast, don't make a lot of details for them. When you want to show something's better, you're making more contrast, you're making more details. If you want to just emphasize on some things, you're making contrast, you're making details. But when you want to just subordinate it, when you want to don't show it very good, then not a lot of details and not a lot of contrast for this part. if you're looking at my background right now, you see that a lot of the texture, and this texture is some things that compete with my flowers. I don't want to have these textures. And in the end, you're gonna see that I'm gonna make it very smooth. For making it smooth, you have a few different technique that we're gonna talk about this later, but right now just looking of the I'm using of one color. It's just a purple that I'm using for the background. We can coming with the light to dark, we can layering our background and make it darker to lighter, and push your color pencil more, then you're gonna see that it's has more smoothness on this. Then this is one way that we can do it, and other ways is the way that I show you in the end, that I'm using of mineral spirit and brush to make it smooth. Look at that when I'm going around any of these flowers like the yellow one, I'm adding more details to it. Again, it's a long process, and you have to be patient and spend your time to work on this. Try to make your background smooth. You see, first I define the leaf, then I came with the color of the background on this a little more to just make it, push it back, push it to a space, and don't show it with light colors and with a lot of the contrast. I'm making a part of the background a little darker with the dark blue. And I want to have a little red here because the table is brownish red. I'm putting the red in both on the background and in the foreground. And then I'm start with the vase. The lightest colors that we have is a yellow ochre. Then I'm starting with this, and after that I'm looking up the dark part that we have, and the local color, actually all the local color that you see here, I'm gonna work on this, and it's gonna be brownish colors. We have bluish gray in the center of this that I'm using of the blue and gray to create this part of the vase. We have brown on this, and even we have green on this. You see that at the same time when you're looking at this, the most important part is the form of this first. Then I have dark in the right side, I have more light in the left and middle of this, and a little dark in the left part. Then I have to bring the dark, medium and light as a transition between dark and light, and then we're gonna start with the dark and medium and light, creating the transition between these colors, and after that is we are adding the details. I didn't add a lot of details on the vase. I like it with the texture. I want this textury shape that it's like a ceramic and clay for me. But the color that you're using, again, you can use of the dark blue, you can use of the purple, red, brown, yellow, and green. The right part is very dark, then make it dark. One of the important part of each still life is between object and the floor we have a dark, very dark shadow that if you don't create it, it's gonna look like that your object is suspended. Then don't forget about this shadow part too. And we have a little reflection of the vase that we have on the table. When you're making the table, the color that you can use is yellow ochre, you can use of red, you can use of orange, but in the center don't make it very dark because we want to see the reflection of vase on the top of the table. Try to make a gesture of the shape that the pattern that we have on the flower on the table, and yeah, and after that is in the this step is that I'm looking to use darker color in some part of the background, and in the end I will use mineral spray to make it smoother. I want it to be very, very smooth. And you see again, you always can continue with adding details on the flowers as much as you want. After I make everything darker, another way to make it very smooth is using white color pencil. You see that I use of the mineral spirit here. I used brush, and I'm going around the picture to make everything smooth.